Now, the world just celebrated Environment Day on the 5th of June with a myriad of challenges and efforts towards environmental conservation raised. Environmentalists in Kisii have raised concern over the increasing infestation of eucalyptus trees in wetlands and along the rivers and riparian stretch. Experts warn that this encroachment is causing water scarcity at an alarming rate. For decades, the eucalyptus has been a major threat to conservation in Kisii land, leading to massive diminishing of wetlands and visibly drying up of rivers. But are locals aware about this, and what could possibly be a solution? Fred Maturi has that story.
Joseph Ovare is a eucalyptus tree farmer in Kisii. He chose to take on this unique farming route because of a wide range of benefits he gets from the tree species.
Miti ya emelingamu vile ambavyo tumeita kwa Kisii ni miti ambavyo hata sisi wakati tulisaliwa tulipata na mababu zetu walikuwa wameipanda kwa wingi. Na miti iko na sababu ama iko na faida nyingi sana katika jamii ya Omo Kisii.
Known in Kisii language as Omoringamu, the eucalyptus is a popular tree in this region, and Ubari is just one of many farmers growing the plant here.
Sasa hiyo miti inasaidia kujoma maneno ya matafoli sana sana, miti ya emelingamu. Kwa sababu kikata mti ya emelingamu kwa saa hii na kesho una siku tatu imekauka.
The tree sucks in water and nutrients from the ground, leaving little or nothing for other crops for nourishment. The eucalyptus also produces toxins from its leaves, which usually harm adjacent crops. Environmental experts are now out to sensitize the farmers about the harm the plant causes to the environment.
I'm seeing it as an area which is going to have a lot of problems in the future. There will be no food, and we are going to be beggars to start asking for relief.
Some of those springs where we have a lot of eucalyptus trees planted around it, it has gone dry. Why? Because eucalyptus drinks a lot of water. In fact, we say that it's a water guzzler.
Samson Bokea, a former director of environment in Kisii, quotes the International Ramsar Convention on Biological Diversity, the only global convention focused specifically on wetland biodiversity and ecosystems, which directs that cultivation must be done away from riparian areas. He opines that Kenya has not done well in implementing this convention.
Has not been so much followed. Like Kenya, which is a signatory to these conventions. Kenya is well known for that.
The eucalyptus type of tree was brought in the country by white settlers from Australia, and the tree was meant to be planted on hilltops and rocky areas, but at the moment the tree has lowered the water table.
It is like a disaster that is in waiting.
The eucalyptus tree flourishes in Kisii because of the high rainfall here.
And there are major species. We have so Eucalyptus sarigina and the Eucalyptus grublus. Those two, and they are commonly grown in Kisii because of timber and because of the factory. They need that for drying their tea. Schools need firewood. Kenya Power, they need poles for electricity. So you can see that the love of that tree. That's why it becomes so difficult to stop growing it.
30 years ago, we could drill and get water at 30 meters. But right now, when we drill, like in the areas of Ovasi, we go as deep as 250 meters. Why? Because water is really disappearing down and down. So we are foreseeing that 20 years from now, we shall be going to 300 meters or 400 meters to get the water.
According to Bokea, the community has ignored conservation practices, thus losing all wetlands and riparian land.
Leaders know about this. They even read. They see even on TV, they read in newspapers the impact of eucalyptus. But for Kisii, I think they have given it a blind eye. And the reason I think is because maybe they fear that they would lose their votes when they tell farmers to cut the eucalyptus.
Right now, the way you have started even airing these kind of concerns, I'm sure many of the other organizations will realize there is a problem and even start coming here to Kisii and do their research on that, on the best alternative.
Lake Victoria and its catchment areas support an estimated 21 million people who rely primarily on subsistence agriculture for their livelihood. And there is a likelihood that the catchment and river channels will dry up.
Wetlands are the source of water. It's like a kidney. It gives you water slowly, but now when we leave it dry, definitely we are going to have a problem.
Hii program inafanya vizuri sana kuliko hizi miti zingine. Unajua ukianguza program, ukibasua kazi yake sasa unaongoja 3 days inakauka. Halafu sasa inachomeka kama petroli kwa hii maneno ya matafari.
The government put a lot of money in the Virongo water project, but you see now it's obsolete because there is no water to be collected. But we realize and we know that if eucalyptus is removed, then the water will slowly come back.
We went round Kisii County with the environmentalist, and what we witnessed is quite a big area being affected, and that the eucalyptus is very aggressive, and in some parts it has greatly displaced other indigenous species besides inhibiting undergrowth.
The major rivers here were River Mogonga was a big river, River Nyangweta was a big river, River Nyamasogota. But all of them, they end up in Liwagucha, and then they drain the water into Lake Victoria. But when you walk around, all the streams, all the springs, and they are not existing.
In those areas of Nyaribari Chache, where we tried removing some eucalyptus trees, we have realized that the water is now slowly seen.
Kwa hivyo kama wale ambao wamepanda hiyo miti wangependa hiyo karibu na miti tuseme kama mita 3 ama mita 5 hivi watoe kutoka kwa karibu na mto, watasaidia maji.
According to Kisii for Energy, Water, Environment and Natural Resources, Dr. Skita Ucharu, the County Assembly legislative functions can redeem wetlands and riparian areas in maintaining appropriate land use practices.
There was a motion that was passed by our County Assembly that we are supposed to remove all the eucalyptus trees along the riparian land. So that shows that there is support from the County Assembly. So that one is assisting us, but still we really need all the players to speak about it in every places they go.
That's why I'm appealing to the government. Maybe they can do something. Try to sensitize our people to tell them where they are supposed to plant this tree.
Even though Kisii experiences a lot of rain, environment studies indicate that the encroachment has affected a population of over 430,000 people since the year 2010. This is in a county with a population of 1.2 million people.
Most of the rivers from this region, the Hapa region, that's the Kisii Highlands, Nyamira, and other, all the rivers have waters just reduced in a big number. That's why we are finding people in Lake Victoria, around Lake Victoria, complaining that they don't have enough water in Lake Victoria.
Environmental experts are warning that the Gusii community should choose between water and the eucalyptus. This tributary here at Nyakomisaro was once a wide source of water, but with the planting of the eucalyptus such as this one has caused a serious environmental degradation. The eucalyptus has also reduced food yield within the county, where crop focusing studies indicated that farmers used to get an average 32 bags of 90 kg bag per acre, but because of the aggressiveness of the tree, the area records about 4 bags in an acre.
You see, the parcels of land in Kisii are very small, and everybody wants to plant eucalyptus. So the leaves, the shade, and the roots, these are the major problem for our land. The roots will wrestle the water. The shade has its own effect. The leaves, they are toxic. So when you plant the maize, the tea, you will find that the yield is so small.
According to the environmental expert, there is need to use the global information systems in mapping out all the wetlands and strictly protect them.
If they can carry out the research and do the mapping using the GPS, like the University of Kisii, if they can use the GPS and say all the wetlands must be, they must put the beacons and they map out all the wetlands and come up with a policy and a rule that this area now there will be no planting of eucalyptus. That's when we can manage. But as long as there is no guideline, still people will continue planting the eucalyptus.
Some of those people realize that the only people who are cutting trees along the riparian land, the other areas of Kisii, you know, they keep on communicating, they are not cutting. So they slowed down. And it was difficult to just start as the whole county at once.
Other than in the wetlands, the trees are grown mainly along water sources and other suitable places to crops. And this has caused a great damage to the environment.
Like now, people are looking for water to give their cows, and even for domestic use. The impact is this. Even though people are saying that eucalyptus has no impact, it is a common knowledge. Even somebody who has not gone to school will tell you that the impact of this is because of this tree.
Lack of appropriate enforceable property rights has created conflicting interests of stakeholders who try to protect the environment.
If you go to other areas and see what it has done, then you can maybe come to your senses and say, let us remove this tree.
Kusema ukweli, kwa hakika ukiambia mtu ya kwamba ang'oe mini atoe Mlingam, hiyo itakuwa shida sana kwa wakulima wetu hapa Kisii.
We are scared as a county if something is not done, then we are going to really have problems.
With the daily climatic changes, the encroachment pressure is likely to intensify due to increased demand for land and water.
We have to come all of us together, all the stakeholders, all the non-governmental organization, and even the corporate, to see how we can be able to address this.
Environmental experts say they are not condemning the eucalyptus at all, but since the tree has been identified as a threat to conservation, there is need to plant it far away from water sources. Fred Muturi, KTN News,